Sorry, Astrid.
Second channel.
Okay. This way. I'm using this as a microphone because it seems fun, but I don't actually know where on this the microphone is, so I'm just kind of holding it and hoping for the best. I should probably clap. Okay, so the thing that I want to talk about today is something that I haven't thought about very much. Or rather, it's not something that I've planned out what I'm going to say at all. But it's something that I've been thinking about and I want to share. Lots of people use forms of generative AI like large language models like ChatGPT or image generation models put the name of one on screen, Editing Me, and they use those because it allows them to do something quickly and easily that otherwise would not be as quick and easy. I'm in university, and so one of the big things that I hear about AI being used for around me a lot is for writing essays. And it struck me, I've got friends who would say that AI-generated music isn't real music, but they would still very happily use it for an essay in some form. And I kind of realized that the reason why people do that is because they use AI for tasks that they do not view as valuable. They use AI for things that feel like an instrumental task to get towards something else, get closer to a real source of value. Like writing an essay so that you can graduate. But then I think about people in the academic world for whom writing essays is literally like what they do. And for people like that, maybe they would view the creation of a piece of academic writing as being intrinsically valuable. And so for a while I was thinking about this idea that people only sort of will defend against AI activities that they have respect for. And I wish that people would not use AI for anything, because I feel like we should respect each other and what our peers and our neighbors find value in. Then I'm thinking about that as a position to take. And I'm realizing that there are some tasks that maybe no one finds value in that kind of intrinsic way. Apple introduced an AI into their phones that summarizes text messages, for example. Or, getting an AI to proofread your email that you're writing. And looking at it from this perspective of what tasks we find intrinsically valuable, I'm not sure whether those would necessarily qualify for a lot of people. And possibly for everyone. Why do I still feel icky about people using AI for those things? I realized what it is, and I realized it through listening to an episode of Noodle's podcast, which is called Final V3.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I don't know, man.
And There's one episode where they talk about the 2025 Coca-Cola Christmas advert that was entirely made using AI. And they talk about the behind the scenes video for that. Sam, who co-hosts this podcast, talks about some philosophy. He talks about the fact that creative product is less valuable in our society now than creative process, because we have a lot of tools, not just AI, that make it really easy and really sort of quick to produce something of an amount of quality, a level of quality. And so what we care about a lot more nowadays is the process. Adam Neely and Ben Levin did 2 different albums that they recorded in 24 hours. Andrew Huang and Rob Scallon have done like 4 or 5 albums now, recorded in like 10 hours each. And the behind-the-scenes videos of that process are brilliant and receive a lot of attention because it's really interesting, and we find a lot of value in the creative process. Sam, the host of the podcast, Final V3, was talking about this because the idea of making a behind-the-scenes video for an AI product, a creative product made by AI, like there is no process there. What are you even going to talk about? But part of what he said, which was really interesting to me, was that creative process is sort of a game. And in the sense that you give yourself a goal and you give yourself constraints, and then you have to overcome those constraints to reach that goal. And that is what gives creative process value, is that it is a game, it is fun, it is a type of play. And then I started thinking about a CJ the X video. CJ the X is a philosopher on YouTube who makes video essays about all kinds of things.
I was driving with a friend along the highway when suddenly, to our left, came into view a beautiful lake. We both gasped and pointed. They said, "I want to go here." And I said, "Imagine we were here." Then I started laughing. It's obvious what we meant, but what we said reeked of absurdity. I want to go here. Imagine we were here. We are here.
Here we are.
A few videos ago, I did an intro where I just said some random bullshit.
I have no legs. You've never seen them. Check, coward.
That was inspired by the way they start a lot of their videos. But what they talked about in this one video, I can't remember what the title of it is. Yes, of course I know what it is. It's 6 Shapes of God. And it's a video about sort of mind exercises that you can use to give your life more meaning. And I don't remember which shape it is, which number in the video it is, but one of the shapes of God is called Lila. And the idea of it is that you take your focus off of the thing you're focusing on and focus on yourself and your emotions, and remember that you have agency and free will, and you consider what it is that you are currently using that agency for. One time I did this because I was getting to bed really late a lot. And I thought, okay, I am an all-powerful being. That's the thing that they say in the video. I am an all-powerful being, and I am keeping myself awake using YouTube videos because it is fun for me to see how tired I can be before I finally submit and go to bed. And when you realize something like that, and when you fully understand what's happening, it allows you to either find value in the game or reject it and choose a different game. And choosing a different game in this case is something that is difficult for me to do. I'm still going to bed incredibly late. But the thought that I had, thinking back to this video essay when I watched this podcast, was that you could do this sense of finding a game, finding a sense of play in pretty much any activity. For emails, for example, one of the biggest constraints is that you have to maintain a formal tone, but you really want to convey a message that is difficult to convey through that formal tone. And the thought that I had with all of this is kind of that all of these uninteresting, boring, unimpassioned tasks that we have to do that seem like a good use for AI are a chance to think more about your surroundings and about your life and about your reaction to your surroundings. And they are a chance to give your life more meaning and more value. And I think that's the thing that makes me feel icky when people use AI to write emails. All of these activities are a chance to find fun and find a game and create fulfillment and enjoyment of your life. And one of the things that really gets to me about people using AI for things is that more than being disrespectful to people who do that thing because they love it, it is the thought that it is disrespectful to yourself. And obviously there are caveats to this. For some people, the idea of writing an email is stressful. And I don't think you could tell someone with anxiety, for example, that going out into the street and talking to a random person is a fun game, and then expect them to just internalize that. It is not a one-size-fits-all solution to just say that you should find the fun. But I think for those of us who can, we should. Because otherwise it is a waste. So yeah, thank you for watching.